Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. 2024 Olympic Games proof Heat can roll out game-changing lineup. The Miami Heat are in need of something new, and it doesn't seem like it will be a new player. Instead, Team USA may have provided the blueprint for a new look that could help the Heat show opponents something different and unlock Bam Adebayo in an important season. Primarily a center on the Heat, Adebayo split his time between power forward and center for Team USA. He wasn't one or the other, he was both. And that could be the key to unlocking Miami's most interesting lineups next season. After playing a bit at both front court positions earlier in his career, Adebayo has logged 100% of his minutes over the last 2 years at center because, well, he's had to. With Kelly Olynyk and Myers Leonard no longer on the roster, the Heat haven't have a big man who could stretch the floor and play next to Adebayo. Instead, the Heat went small, cycling through guys like Trevor Ariza, P.J. Tucker, Caleb Martin, Haywood Highsmith and Nikola Jovic at center over the last 3 seasons. Any backup center with the potential to play next to Bam Yurtseven, Kevin Love, Orlando Robinson, Thomas Bryant, hasn't been viable for one reason or another. That could change after the Heat drafted Kel'el Ware in June. We're impressed in Summer League, showing the kind of shot blocking and rim-rolling skills that could pair well with Adebayo in the front court. Squint, and it could look a little like how Anthony Davis and Adebayo played off each other on Team USA's second unit. With the 7-foot Davis on the court, Adebayo could play more free. Rather than have to drop back and defend the rim, Bam could get out and defend on the perimeter. Because he wasn't asked to set every screen in the middle of the floor, Adebayo could take threes from the corner. Expecting Ware to provide what Davis did is obviously unrealistic, but he also doesn't have to. No one is asking Ware to play Defensive Player of the Year caliber defense, but he does have to be better than what the Heat have been working with behind Bam over the years. Check that list of names again, it shouldn't be hard. Shooting would be a plus. Over his 2 collegiate seasons and Summer League, Ware has made about 33% of his three-pointers. The Heat drafted him in part because of his willingness to shoot the three, but he needs to get more efficient. But even Davis didn't exactly stretch the floor for Team USA. Playing Bam and Ware together wouldn't be about offense, it would be about defense. The Heat also don't need to insert a rookie into the starting lineup. Like with Team USA, Adebayo plus Davis was the back line on the second unit. To make it work, Coach Steve Kerr often paired them with perimeter scorers like Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, and Derek White. Erik Spoelstra can stick with Adebayo as his starting center, but, once he gets into his substitutions, bring Ware into the game and slide Adebayo over to power forward. Playing them with Miami's best shooters like Tyler Herro and Duncan Robinson could help alleviate any spacing concerns. Playing Ware and Adebayo together won't solve all of Miami's problems from last season, but it's a new look on a relatively unchanged roster, and one Spoelstra saw firsthand while helping Team USA win gold. Tyreek Hill accuses Noah Lyles of faking illness during Olympics. Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill has established himself as the fastest player in the NFL. Along with his top-end speed, Hill's ability to decelerate at the top of his routes and explode out of breaks has made him one of the most explosive wide receivers in the league. The dynamic wideout led the Kansas City Chiefs to a Super Bowl championship in 2019. Last season, he helped Miami become the only team to post over 400 offensive yards per game. While Hill's speed may strike fear in NFL defenses, he pales in comparison to the athletes that competed in the 2024 Summer Olympic Games in Paris. That hasn't stopped the 5-time All-Pro from blasting the views of U.S. sprinter Noah Lyles, who has drawn the ire of many athletes for his controversial comments regarding NFL and NBA players. During the 2023 World Athletic Championships in Budapest, Hungary, Lyles criticized NBA Finals winners for calling themselves world champions. "You know what hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals and they have world champion on their head," Lyles said. "World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the US, at times, but that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA." The comments continued to spark reactions from NBA stars at the Paris Games, where the U.S. men's basketball team defeated France for the gold medal. During an appearance on the Up and Adams podcast on Monday, host Kay Adams asked Hill for his opinion on Lyles' belief that Super Bowl champions shouldn't consider themselves world champions. Hill fired back with a controversial take of his own, suggesting that Lyles used illness as an excuse for his third-place finish in the 200-meter race at the Paris Games. "Noah Lyles can't say nothing after what just happened to him," Hill said. "Then he wants to come out and pretend like he's sick. I feel like that's horseradish. So for him to do that and say that we're not world champions of our sport. Come on, bruh, just speak on what you know about, and that's track." Lyles earned gold in the 100-meter race at the Paris Games by stopping the clock at a personal best 9.78 seconds. Wild Miami Heat rumor from popular podcaster details path to unexpectedly land young superstar to replace Jimmy Butler. A shocking new rumor from a popular sports podcaster details a path for the Miami Heat to eventually land fast-rising superstar Anthony Edwards in a blockbuster trade. This has been a fairly uneventful offseason for the Heat. Despite early summer rumors about Jimmy Butler being unhappy with his contract situation and possibly asking for a trade, it has been all quiet around the organization since. That isn't a bad thing, but they certainly have not improved the roster following a first-round ouster from the NBA playoffs. It does not look like the organization will make any major changes before February's NBA trade deadline, but recently, uber-popular sports podcaster Dan Le Batard outlined a wild path for the Miami Heat to completely overhaul their long-term strategy with a stunning trade for the Minnesota Timberwolves superstar Anthony Edwards. Partial information on something that will be explosive if it happens, Le Batard started by saying, "I'm going to set you up for something that is speculative right now, but is something to keep an eye on. Glenn Taylor is the owner of the Timberwolves and he sold the team to Alex Rodriguez, and a business partner. There's an arbitration coming up in which we're going to find out who gets that team. And this is what you need to watch out for. If Glenn Taylor keeps the team, what's going to happen after that is they're going to lose their team president Tim Connolly. He's going to leave because he signed a long-term deal with the A-Rod team. And I think it's contingent on A-Rod being the owner," he added. "If Tim Connolly leaves, the next step on that is Anthony Edwards possibly wanting to leave with him and requesting a trade to Miami. It is unclear why Edwards would specifically ask for a trade to Miami. He is not from Florida and grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. However, the Heat has often been a preferred destination for many star players over the last 20 years and isn't a wild notion. It only adds more to the idea that Alex Rodriguez needs to win the arbitration battle for control of the team. Jimmy Butler turns 35 this September, and the organization not being interested in a new long-term deal shows they are already planning on life after the six-time All-Star. Landing Edwards would be the perfect pivot from the Butler era for the team. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Anthony Edwards? Leave your opinion in the comments.